One bird, 364 eggs, 365 days. No hormone injections, no heated barn, no bag of feed with a barcode telling her what to eat. Just a hen standing on open pasture doing exactly what she was bred to do. She shrugs off frozen winters and blistering summers without missing a beat. She rarely gets sick and she can live for nearly a decade. Her eggs carry noticeably more omega-3s and far more vitamin content than anything sitting under fluorescent lights in your local grocery aisle. For a short window in history, farmers everywhere knew this bird by name. Families fed themselves on almost nothing. Then she vanished. Not because she stopped producing, but because she worked too well for an industry worth $500 billion. By the end of this video, you will know exactly which hen this is, why she was pushed out of memory, and how to bring her back onto your own land starting this week. Here is the reality most backyard chicken keepers are living right now. A 50-pound bag of layer pellets runs close to $30 and disappears in under 3 weeks with even a small flock. Easily $400 a year in feed alone, before oyster shell, grit, and dewormer. Most people start with commercial hybrids from big hatcheries, Golden Comets, ISA Browns, Production Reds. These birds lay hard for about 18 months, then collapse. Output drops 40 to 60% after year 1, and by year 3 most are finished, so you buy more chicks, more feed, more supplies, and the cycle never ends. Get one sick, and you're looking at a $50 to $80 vet visit and antibiotics that cost more than the bird did. The average backyard flock owner spends $800 to $1,200 a year and still gets fewer eggs than their grandmother got from half as many birds and $0 spent at any store. That is not a farming model, that is a subscription service. To understand why this hen matters, go back to England in the 1890s. A poultry breeder named William Cook crossed Minorcas, Plymouth Rocks, and Langsands and produced a solid dual-purpose bird called the Black Orpington. Decent meat, decent eggs, nothing spectacular. But Cook's real legacy was what happened once his stock crossed the ocean. Australian breeders got hold of these Black Orpingtons in the early 1900s, wanting one thing only. Not show ribbons, but eggs, every single day. They crossed in white leghorns for laying consistency, Rhode Island red blood for production, and Langshan and Minorca genetics for size and hardiness. Then, season after season, generation after generation, they kept only the hens that laid the most while eating the least. This was deliberate generational engineering with a single goal: a hen that could feed a family off open ground alone. In 1902, an agricultural college in New South Wales ran one of the first official egg-laying trials in the world, and the new Australian blackbirds, soon named Australorps, dominated the rankings. But those breeders were not satisfied. They kept selecting, and what happened over the next 2 decades changed poultry history for good. In a large laying trial held in Australia in the 1920s, a pen of just 6 of these hens produced 1,857 eggs across 365 straight days, roughly 309 eggs per hen per year, with no artificial lighting, no climate control, no hormones, no supplements. The poultry world went quiet. Nobody had ever seen numbers like that from any breed, under any conditions. And it did not stop there. In the following trial, a single hen laid 347 eggs in 12 months. Then another bird from the same bloodlines pushed that to 354. And then one single hen, in one single year, laid 364 eggs in 365 days. One egg, almost every single day, for an entire calendar year, on nothing but sunlight, grass insects, and kitchen scraps. For a brief window, the whole world paid attention. But that attention brought the wrong kind of eyes. Global poultry production today is worth more than $320 billion, and feed alone adds another $200 billion on top of that. More than $500 billion built on one assumption: that you need to buy everything to raise anything. Now ask yourself a simple question. What happens to a $200 billion feed industry when a heritage hen feeds herself off open pasture? What happens to veterinary pharmaceutical companies when a naturally hardy breed almost never gets sick? What happens to genetics companies selling patented layer breeds when an open source heritage hen outproduces every one of their products in real dirt? They lose billions, and industries facing that kind of loss do not stay quiet. Here is the problem with this hen from the industry's point of view. You cannot patent her. She does not belong to any corporation. You cannot patent the pasture she forages on, the grass, the insects, the sunlight. You cannot patent the knowledge your grandparents carried about raising chickens without buying a single thing. What cannot be patented cannot be controlled. What cannot be controlled cannot generate recurring revenue, and what cannot generate recurring revenue gets replaced. So that is exactly what happened. She was replaced by fast-growing hybrid broilers, so genetically extreme they reach slaughter weight in 6 weeks and suffer organ failure if left alive past 10. Open pasture was replaced with climate-controlled sheds where birds never touch real ground. Kitchen scraps and foraged insects were replaced with 50-pound bags of soy and corn blend sold at premium prices week after week. And it worked, because within 2 generations, most families had never even heard this breed's name. She disappeared from hatchery catalogs. Feed stores stopped mentioning her. The knowledge was not just lost, it was actively pushed out of the conversation. But here's what they did not count on. She survived anyway. In backyard flocks that never followed the commercial playbook. In small heritage breeders who kept selecting for the old traits: production, hardiness, foraging instinct, self-sufficiency. Today, livestock conservation groups list this heritage line as a breed worth protecting, and small breeders across the country are rebuilding the original production bloodlines. On good pasture with minimal inputs, she still lays 250 to 300 eggs a year. She still handles heat and cold without supplemental climate control. She still hatches her own chicks without an incubator. The genetics never failed. The information was just buried. And it is coming back because people like you are digging it up. So here's what actually matters. How do you bring her home? Start by finding a genuine heritage line, not a bird from a large commercial hatchery breeding for looks instead of production. Look for a small breeder who tracks actual laying numbers. Give her real ground to work: grass, dirt, insects, sunlight. Even a modest yard with rotational access can cut your feed bill by 30 to 50%. Keep her diet simple: cracked grain for energy, a protein source like dried mealworms or black soldier fly larvae, fresh greens or foraged weeds, and crushed oyster shell or ground eggshell for calcium. That is the whole program. No branded bags, no proprietary blends, no subscription to somebody else's supply chain, and breed forward. Your first generation might lay 250 eggs a year. By your 3rd or 4th generation of careful selection, you will be raising birds that lay 280, 290, even 300 eggs, for free, on your own land. The old Australian breeders did not build a record-setting hen in one season. They built her over decades. Your flock is a long game. Play it like one. Now picture your yard 3 to 5 years from now. A self-sustaining flock of heritage hens on your land, foraging most of their own food. Your feed bill a fraction of what it used to be. Collecting 250 to 300 eggs per hen per year from birds that almost never get sick. You are not buying chicks anymore because your hens hatch their own. You are not replacing burned out hybrids every 18 months. You are not standing in the feed aisle wondering which $30 supplement you need this time. Your eggs are deep orange, dense with nutrition, better than anything money can buy at any store in your county. This is not a hobby. It is real independence, the kind you can hold in your hand every single morning. And it all started with a breed someone hoped you would never rediscover. So tell me in the comments, are you already raising heritage layers like this one? And if not, what has been holding you back? I read every comment. If this video opened your eyes to something the industry would rather you never think about, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We publish content like this every week. Heritage breeds, forgotten methods, real numbers, no filler, no corporate sponsors telling us what to say. And next week we go even deeper. The exact free feed system that can wipe out most of your feed bill using plants you can grow in almost any climate, any yard, any season. This knowledge was never really lost. It was just waiting for someone willing to dig it up. Now you have it. What you do with it from here is up to you.